Hello and welcome. You're watching 6 Stories at 6 and I am Tanisha Avasthi. We have a lot lined up for you on this edition, from what's making news here in India to internationally. We'll get you those 6 stories. Here's a quick check of that. Story number 1. Rahul Gandhi has been seen flaunting the Chinese drone, and the Drone Federation of India has now fact-checked him. And while Rahul Gandhi is showcasing the Chinese banned drone with pride, this aide, Uncle Sam, has now come out in support of China. Also on the show tonight, the raging debate over Congress MP's Pakistani link, and what's the charge, what's the retort. We'll tell you about that as well. Moving on, about the big charge of US aid meddling into Indian elections and who were the beneficiaries of it. We'll tell you all that. Also, story number 5, there is a huge political outrage over a rally that was held in Kerala's Palakkad, where a tribute was given to Hamas leaders. And finally, we will get you the story of first gay imam being killed after support to the LGBTQ community. So these are the 6 stories that we have lined up for you. Starting first up with the controversy that Rahul Gandhi is in. Now, Congress MP Rahul Gandhi is facing widespread criticism for showcasing a banned Chinese drone in a social media video, in which he suggested that the country needed a strong production base to manufacture drones and not empty words. The Congress leader also claimed that in India, they do not make any components used inside drones, and also that there was no understanding of optics. First up, listen to what Rahul Gandhi said.
This is what's going to be at the heart of all robotics. This is what's going to be at the heart of drones. This is what's going to be at the heart of submarines. This is going to be at the heart of toys, warfare, everything. And the sad fact is that we're nowhere here. We don't make any of the components inside this. We don't understand how it's made. We certainly don't make any of the optics. We don't understand how it's made. And that's what my speech was getting at, that this is actually where we should be playing. And the network that produces this is where the real value is. And all AI is actually going to be operating on this network. So for example, when this thing is built, AI is going to be used to order how it's built. When this thing is used, AI will determine how it's used. So when I hear talks about, I heard the Prime Minister say we are going to be number 1 in AI. I mean, it's complete junk, because you cannot be number 1 in AI unless you have a production network, or not so effective, but at least you have consumption data. And India has given away its consumption data to large multinational companies, and India doesn't even play in the production space.
The question essentially is, why is Rahul Gandhi belittling India? Now, the Drone Federation of India has fact-checked Rahul Gandhi. Listen in.
रिसेंटली हमने देखा होगा एक वीडियो जहाँ पे हमारे एक प्रोमिनेंट नेता ने एक चाइनीज़ ड्रोन हाथ में पकड़कर बस ब्लेटेंटली ये कह दिया कि इंडियन इकोसिस्टम को ड्रोन के जो अलग अलग पार्ट्स है ये अभी इसकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग नहीं है, और इंडिया में हम ऑप्टिक्स या बैटरी या ऐसे टाइप के जो भी सारे पार्ट्स है वो बनाते नहीं हैं, जबकि इंडिया में अप्रॉक्सीमेटली 400 से ज़्यादा कंपनीज है जो अलग अलग टाइप के ड्रोन्स बना रही है। इनफैक्ट यही नहीं, इंडिया में 50 से ज़्यादा ड्रोन कंपोनेंट कंपनीज भी है जो बैटरीज, मोटर, प्रोपेलर, फ्लाइट कंट्रोलर, GNSS और ऐसे अलग अलग टाइप के बहुत सारे कंपोनेंट्स बनाती है। ऐसे वक्त पर एक ब्लैंकेट तरीके से बस ये कहना कि इंडियन इकोसिस्टम में ड्रोन पार्ट्स के बनाने की कोई अंडरस्टैंडिंग ही नहीं है, ये बहुत ही एक अजीब सा स्टेटमेंट है जो पूरी इंडियन इकोसिस्टम के लिए डिमोटिवेटिंग। मैं बस ये कहना चाहूँगा कि ऐसे उदाहरण देते वक्त एक चाइनीज़ ड्रोन को हाथ में पकड़ के, जिसका बाय द वे इंपोर्ट भी बैंड है, पता नहीं क्या वो रजिस्टर्ड है भी या नहीं, और ऐसे वीडियो में जहाँ वो एक ड्रोन को उड़ाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, क्या उनके पास ड्रोन पायलट सर्टिफिकेट है, और ऐसा वीडियो जो शायद लगता है कि दिल्ली में शूट किया गया है, जो एक रेड जोन है, वहाँ पे क्या मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ सिविल एविएशन या मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर्स की कोई परमिशंस भी ली गई है? मुझे ऐसा लगता है अगर चेंज लाने की ज़रूरत है तो वो बस एक क्रिटिक होकर और सिर्फ ये बात करके कि इंडिया में किसी को कुछ नहीं आता है, इससे नहीं हो सकता है। ग्राउंड पे उतरने की ज़रूरत है और एक्चुअल सजेशंस देने की ज़रूरत है।
I'm being joined by Sagar Gupta. He is the founder and managing director at Indian Robotics Solution Private Limited. Thank you very much, Sagar, for speaking to Republic. Rahul Gandhi has essentially gone ahead, flaunted a banned Chinese drone. The Drone Federation of India has called him out. Your first take on that?
So I've also gone through that video. I saw that video and find out, yeah, there is a DJI drone, is a famous, one of the best a drone company, Chinese company, which is already covered 90% consumer drone market. But if we talk about when he said the Indians don't have the knowledge for the how to drone make, what kind of electronics, so I can also deny that, because there is a lot of manufacturer company in India which is already making the drone components from here from the scratch. We talk about the like some initially semiconductors might be we are importing from other countries, but we talk about the PCBs we are designing here. We talk about the aerodynamics and the frames, everything. So if you go with a very big companies like Asteria, Idea Force, and other companies who have stabilized their companies from 10 years back or 20 years back, they have already developed a big kind of drones which is completely made in India. We talk about like startup like us, we're also involving in some of like designing. Like recently we have developed some PCBs, like I can show you on the screen as well, this we use in our drone. We also designing some components like CNC process components here which we use in the frame. We can show you the complete frame we designed here. So it's the completely wrong statement that Indians are not doing anything in the drone. They're already doing a lot of things. If you go in the military section, well-known companies complete designing the technology from the scratch. They have a deep inside of the technology and they're supplying the product to the Indian Army is a completely made in India. It's not like Chinese one. Earlier, we can say earlier 2000, like before 2020, people are using the Chinese component white labeling that. What once you get to know the PM Modi's intention about the drone technology and they come with the some of PLI scheme, other things, and also the drone rule introduced in like drone rules 2021, right. People get to know lots of things about it.
Absolutely.
So I should say like this is the good one. But in statement is completely wrong if talk about the Indian industry.
Right. Right, Sagar. Appreciate you joining us on that and sharing your views. Moving on, while Rahul Gandhi is flaunting the China drone, Indian Overseas Congress Chief Sam Pitroda has once again quoted a controversy with his remark that India-China issue has been blown out of proportion by the United States, with the Bharatiya Janata Party now hitting back, accusing the Congress party of ceding away India's land to the neighbouring country. Listen in first to what Sam Pitroda had to say.
I don't know what is the threat from China. I think there is always this thing blown out of, at times, proportion, because US has the habit of defining an enemy. I think time has come for all of us to really network nations and not have confrontation. Our attitude is that of confrontation from day one. And that attitude creates enemy. And that creates certain support in the country. I think we need to change that pattern. You know, to assume that China is the enemy from day one, it's just not fair. Not just to China, but to anybody. Okay. I think it is time for us to learn to increase communication, collaborate, cooperate, and co-create, and not have this command and control mindset. China is around, China is growing. You know, you got to recognize that, respect that. And every other country is going to grow. Okay. Some will grow faster, some will go slower. Those who are very poor has to grow faster. Those who are well accomplished, developed, they will have slower growth. Those who are developed also will have aging population. And those who are developing will have young population. So you got to look at all of these things together.
Moving on to the other stories that we're tracking, senior Congress MP Gaurav Gogoi said that Assam government can conduct any inquiry on the issue of his wife's alleged ISI links, but he and his party knows where they stand. In a press conference here that he held in Guwahati, Gogoi said that he held discussions with the AICC and on taking legal action against the BJP in this regard, and that steps would be taken soon. He also, remember, hasn't denied meeting the Pakistani envoy. Here's the charge and the retort.
it appears that Mr. Ali Sheikh has been in contact with Srimati Elizabeth Gogoi, a British national and the wife of Honorable Member of Parliament from Assam, Sri Gaurav Gogoi. Apart from his engagement with the government of Pakistan, Mr. Ali Sheikh has also founded Lead Pakistan, a non-profit organization working in the field of climate change. Srimati Elizabeth Gogoi, a British national, was an integral part of Lead Pakistan during her time spent in Islamabad.
Every day he has altered his stance. From the day one in Singapore he said something, on 5th day he said something else, and yesterday he's altered his stance once again. But on the opposite hand, the Congress position has remained firm. We are confident of our position. If they want to do an investigation, they can go ahead. We are confident of where we are. And it is logical for the Chief Minister to be afraid, because 12 months from now, there will be elections in the state of Assam.
Now, a day after America's Department of Government Efficiency published a report claiming the use of taxpayers' money to drive the voter turnout in India under a previous United States administration, the BJP came out with a big claim, saying that the Election Commission partnered with an organization funded by the US billionaire George Soros to influence voter turnouts in India during the Congress years. Take a look at this detailed report for more.
In a massive charge, the BJP accused the Election Commission of tying up with a foreign firm to drive voter turnouts in India. Significantly, it claimed that the foreign firm is bankrolled and backed by billionaire American investor George Soros. The BJP said the alleged tie-up to influence the country's electoral process took place in 2012 when the Congress-led UPA was in power at the centre. Significantly, the massive claim comes just a day after the Elon Musk-headed Department of Government Efficiency claimed to have cancelled a scheduled funding of $21 million under previous US administrations to influence voter turnouts in the country. Addressing a press conference in the national capital today, BJP MP Sudhanshu Trivedi said the EC tied up with the International Foundation for Electoral Systems, which received funding from the Soros-funded Consortium for Elections and Political Process Strengthening to influence the country's election process.
एक इंटरनेशनल फाउंडेशन फॉर इलेक्टोरल सिस्टम्स नामक एक संस्था है जिसने 2011 में भारत की एक संस्था इंडिया इंटरनेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ इलेक्शन मैनेजमेंट इसके साथ एक करार किया और ये करार में जो पीछे से सपोर्ट आ रही है वो CEPPS जो जॉर्ज सोरेस के ओपन सोसाइटी फाउंडेशन के साथ उसके संबंध हैं। इस प्रकार चुनावी प्रक्रिया को प्रभावित करने, परिवर्तित करने या उसके अंदर कोई समस्या उत्पन्न करने के हेतु से आर्थिक अनुदान पाती हुई दिखाई पड़ रही थी। ये बहुत गहरा संदेह हमारे मन में उत्पन्न होता है।
The BJP claimed that the agency operated in cahoots with the International Foundation for Electoral Systems, the International Republican Institute and the National Democratic Institute. While the onus is on the poll panel to clarify on the alleged tie-up in 2012, the larger question is, did Soros influence poll outcomes in India?
Joining me on that is Brahmachalani, geostrategic expert. Brahmachalani, I want to first read out your tweet that you have put out today. You have given out the amount that was given to each country by US aid. Essentially, it was meddling. Then you have said dramatic shifts in political landscape in its neighborhood catch India by surprise as its own system is porous. I want to know, why did you say that?
Money is flowing into India without the government of India being able to track that flow. Or, for example, what you're saying that the Election Commission of India partnered with a Soros-funded foreign organization. Where was the government of India? What was it doing? And I'm talking of successive governments in India, that our system has become so porous that foreign agencies, including foreign interests that are inimical to India's interests, are able to interfere in India's domestic affairs. As far as the USAID is concerned, the Trump administration freeze on USAID funding has led to a series of revelations, including the names of its beneficiaries. And these revelations clearly point to the fact that the USAID's original mandate, as it was set up in 1961, when it was created by the then President John F. Kennedy, that mandate has actually been sidestepped by USAID, and that in reality, USAID has been doing things that are far remote from its original mandate. In fact, one prominent senator in the US, Johnny Ernst, she in a Wall Street Journal article has described the USAID as a rogue agency that uses coercion and shell games to hide where the money is going, how it's being spent, and by whom. All that, that lack of transparency on the part of USAID is one reason why the Trump administration has frozen all funding. But
Absolutely.
The more important reason is that the USAID has become an arm of the American deep state.
Absolutely, Brahmachalani. I really appreciate you joining us on the broadcast and sharing your views. Thank you very much for speaking to Republic. Moving on to the other stories that we're tracking now. Images of Hamas leaders prominently displayed at a procession of a local festival in Kerala's Palakkad district triggered widespread outrage. Now, images of Yahya Sinwar and other Hamas leaders, both the leaders of the militant group Hamas, were seen on banners. The banners were paraded atop elephants by a group of young participants. Visuals of that on your screen. Participation of prominent figures, including Minister MP Rajesh, who also is an MLA from the Tirthala constituency, and Congress leader VT Balram in the event has also now raised eyebrows, although there has been no response yet from the organizers of the Uros festival regarding the banners. And it's time for us to slip into a short break, but after the break we'll get to the details of how a first gay imam was killed, shot down essentially in South Africa. All that and much more after a break.